Hello, hello. It is the seventh day of me doing this thing. So a week ago I had this idea, what if I just started broadcasting live every day, just sharing some of the tips and tricks. Not spend a lot of time, it's not a lot of formal training, it's just there's a lot of cool stuff that, tactics that I have shared and that I've learned from, especially you guys, from sales producers. So this is the seventh day of doing it. And it's kind of fun to see that I created a group, had 0 people in it, and we've got over 50 people in this week. So we're not shaking the earth, but that's pretty cool. Some of you guys have been here every day, and for those of you guys, I already gave you yesterday, I told you I give you free access to the 14-day challenge training that I'm going to be launching here pretty soon, which is a 14-day specific linear learning path where you watch a video, you do a specific set of things, and it will help you optimize your online presence. It's called Wow, I Look Great on Social Media, the challenge, and that's kind of fun. Let me see how we're doing here. Let's see if we've got, let's go to the live. See if I am live, make sure it's working. Yep, I am. As always, Crystal, you're worth $1 billion to me in my heart. So fun. You guys are already here. So here's what we're gonna talk about today. Looks like we got a few more people logging in here. Let me finish my thought that I had before I checked, which is 7 days into this, pretty cool. Got about 50 people already in this group, which is kind of fun. I've been getting some emails from some of you guys that, hey, you can't join the live session, but you've confirmed that you are watching the replays. So that's cool. If you are doing that, just always know, right, there's about 90 seconds to 3 minutes worth of banter at the beginning. You can just kind of fast forward through that part when you're watching the replay. But today's kind of fun. Today we are going to talk about 2 things. This pretty tight little training. These are things that I've trained on many times before, and they're 2 specific tactics. So I'm just gonna give you guys a couple of quick tactics. It's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. I have a whole bunch of work to do, so I don't have time. I know you don't have time to just sit here and ramble and hang out. So I'm just gonna try to share with you these 2 cool tactics, and then you can try implementing them, and then you can get back to work. Or if you got some more time, then you could go back and start watching some of the replays from the previous videos. I was thinking about this. What I'm going to do when this is all over, I'm actually going to go through and I'm going to produce these down, and I'm going to make them a lot tighter. So I'm going to go down and produce the videos. So they'll be just these short, cool little tactics, and then I'm going to put them up on the web so that way they're all together. I thought that would be kind of a cool way to get the best parts of them. Okay, so here we are, day 7. We're going to talk about 2 social posting tactics. First off is, oh good, some feedback. Curious how you guys are doing. How are you doing? How's it going? You've been kind of in listening mode on these, but today both of these tactics require you to do work. So, you're gonna have to put on your brain cells and get them running, because I got some stuff that is cool. It's fun to do it. And it's fun to see other people do stuff, but unless you're actually doing it and integrating it and executing on it, then it's not going to help you. So first off, let's talk about a cool tactic that you can implement when you're creating social content on the web, so you'll never have to spam someone again. That's cool. And then the second thing that I want to share with you is a tactic that you can employ to help you know what people want. So you can create content that's exactly what your audience is looking for. So that's cool, right? I think that's cool. So let's just zoom in here. So number 1, let me get that a little more. Right there. Okay, here we go. This one, I call it, and some of you might have heard this one before, I call it the biz per post. And the biz per post is cool. You can call it the barely business post. I will tell you, whoops, I jumped there. I first learned this from a friend of mine. Her name is Star Hall, and she is a social media strategist and PR person, lives down in San Luis Obispo area, Santa Barbara area, California. We became friends years ago. I'm talking like 2008, 2009. Anyways, this is a tactic that she had in one of her books that she published, and I've just used it for years. And what's cool about the Biz Per Post is it really gets you these three things, right? You're never gonna spam someone again, which is cool when you use it. You're gonna be able to stay top of mind with your audience, and it's engaging. It's one that actually gets people to engage. So here's how it works, okay? It's about 20% business. So the idea is when you're creating this post, and I even say you could go 10% business. It's very light, and that's why I call it, she calls it the Biz Per Post. I call it the barely business post because it's barely business, right? A lot of times on our Facebook page, especially, or on LinkedIn, we're all about business. Well, this post is barely business. So 20% business, and then I would say 80% personal or social. So the thing is you want to focus on the aspects of things that are, interesting to humans. Here's my definition for it. You give a light reminder of how you serve your community with a focus on local social topics. So the idea is to think about what's going on in your life, in your community that isn't business, and then go ahead and focus on that, and then just kind of bring in a touch of what you do for work. So here's an example. And I actually made this when I was doing some training for a hospital, so it's a little bit more healthcare oriented. But it says, I'm finishing a 12-hour shift in the ER, and I'm going straight to watch my boy throw the football for Crescent Valley High School. Should be a tough game between the Spartans and the Raiders. So if we look at that post, thinking about what's going on here, she mentions at the beginning, right, we get this idea, maybe it's a doctor or an attorney. The truth is, if people are connected with you on Facebook, a lot of them know what it is that you do. You don't have to say, I'm in insurance, I'm in insurance, I'm in insurance. They're like, yeah, I know, you're my insurance guy. Or I'm a realtor. Like, yeah, we know, you're all over the place, we know that. All over the place meaning we see your advertising all over the place, not like you're all over the place. Or maybe you are. If I can't do anything in these things by myself, standing in this room, creating these videos, maybe I should at least entertain myself. So anyways, whatever you do, right? It could be like just closed, just helped someone buy their very first house. It was awesome. And now I'm rushing out of the office to go watch my boy, throw the football. And then what you'll see here is, what have we done? We've tagged, right here, we've tagged the high school. So if the business or whatever you're referring to has a presence on the web and you tag that, then they're going to see that you're talking about them, which is a very good individual way to build a relationship with them, but it's also a way for their audience to see your content. So what's cool about the reach of this tactic is it gets you out in front of others. The truth is, you could say, for Crescent Valley High School, should be a tough game between the Spartans and the Raiders, and you could actually tag the other high school. And so that would get you in front of the other group of people. So what's cool about this tactic is it doesn't take a lot of effort to share the things that you care about. Like, I love watching my kid play soccer or football or whatever those things are, but you're just kind of roping in or putting in like a little lining of context about who you are. Here's an example from a friend of mine who's a dentist, and his social media professional person that I am really good friends with, and we do a lot of discussing on these kinds of things. Well, actually, I don't want to get into that story. That's another story. I'm going to create another post on that one. This is just a good example of a social post that he created that I would say is a really good barely business or Biz Per Post post. Let me zoom in here so you can see it. He says, Dr. Haas recently returned from a trip to Samoa, and he brought us each a beautiful flower and a traditional, I don't even know how to say that, Elio, I don't know, back from the island. And then another Hawaiian word, Dr. Haas. So what we've got here is just a really cool, transparent moment into the life of his day-to-day in the office. So it's not saying, hi, I'm in dentistry, I'm all this stuff. And when people see this kind of stuff, they're gonna like it. So let me give you one more example of this post. And get ready, because I'm going to make you write one here in a minute. Of course, I can't make you do anything, but here's a good, I would say, template. The flowers outside our office, and you could tag your business name, are starting to bloom. Thanks. And then you tag your landscaper. And whether you tag them personally or their business page, either way, that's a pretty powerful way to get in front of them. They're so beautiful. So what's cool about this post here, they seem really dark for some reason. Huh. Anyways, maybe it's the tan I'm getting because of all the sunshine. Anyways, I like this post because when you tag these other businesses, uh-oh, what's going on? Still working here? Yep, okay. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. That happens when you're juggling 5 things at once. What's cool about this business post, or this biz per post, this barely business post here, is you're actually developing an individual relationship with this person, right? When you tag your landscaper, they feel that as a recommendation. And that post is going to show up on their profile too, if they allow it to, which many will. And that's going to be like a nice recommendation. So you're saying something nice about them. So whether people are seeing it on your page or they, their audience is seeing it because it's coming through their feed, that's really cool. Now I put in orange here at the bottom, how are your flowers doing? Another tactic, I won't like go into this really big, but a very powerful tactic, obviously when it comes to social posting, is make it more about them and less about you. And so whenever you can invite people to answer a question, whenever you can invite people to engage, that's going to get more engagement. So how are your flowers doing? You know, what does your landscaping look like? Share us a picture of your beautiful spring. You know, whatever these things are, you're now it's kind of like you're doubling down. So you're going from like, here's a biz per post that's not going to make you feel like I'm spamming you about my work. It's going to be something that's interesting. I know I've been spending time in the yard this week trying to get things ready to go. Trying to reclaim a yard actually. And so this might appeal to me. It might resonate like, oh, hey, I wonder who they're using. Because like right now we're trying to figure out what should we plant. We've got all this space that we want to plant all this stuff and we're not really sure what to plant there. So this could resonate on so many different levels. What do you think? What do you guys think? That's pretty cool, huh? So let me go back here. Well, no, let's go forward. I'm going to give you one more example. This was from a few years ago. I was working with an insurance agency and they created this post and they're like, hey, Brett, do you think this is a good one? And I think it was awesome. And let me zoom in here and you can see this one. He says, let's see, or she said actually, she said, if we weren't busy working at the office, and of course this is pre-COVID, right? This is a few years ago. If we weren't busy working at the office, we'd love to be at the Denver Zoo celebrating International Polar Bear Day today. Learn more about saving polar bears in the wild. And then it's got the link to the Denver Zoo. So if you follow this business page, you know that they're about insurance, right? You don't have to spend all this time saying, do you need insurance? Do you need insurance? Do you need our business? Do you need our services? They know that. What you're doing is you're creating, you know, a relationship, right? Have you ever dated someone that's like, do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? You're like, not anymore, right? So this is what we're trying to do here is we're trying to say it's a baseline that's established that we have a relationship. And I know what your relationship is. I know that you're my realtor, or I know that you're my insurance broker. I know that you're my attorney or my accountant or whatever those things are. What we're doing is we're deepening that relationship. And so by sharing things that we have in common and creating things that are more social, then we're going to do this in such a way that, that it just drives more engagement. I remember when I first started sharing this, I taught it. It was at a workshop years ago. And I think my example was like, I've received so many boat-related insurance questions this week in the office. Now I just want to go fishing. And then and it was kind of around insurance agents that are insuring, you know, boats and recreational vehicles. Well, I remember like a couple days later, one of the guys I taught it to had tweeted it on Facebook, and he just took the exact same words. He said, you know, I answered a lot of boat-related questions in the office. Now I just want to go fishing. And what happened was, someone responded to, and they were like, Joe, that was his name, whatever his name was. He goes, Joe, what are you talking about? You've never gone fishing a day in your life. And they called him out on it, and it was awesome. And I bring that up to say, it's so important that we're authentic in doing these things, right? So if you can't pull it out of your real heart and be authentic to whatever it is that you're doing, right? It might be really nice to say, you know, I mean, right now we got COVID-19 going on, so maybe storage and toilet paper and all these different things are coming up, you know. So you've got to come up with some sort of thing. If you were, anyways, you just can't be, you have to be authentic for it to really work in the long run, because you're building long-term relationships with these people. I remember another agent, she actually used that same fish-related one. She said, it was on LinkedIn, and she posted a picture of herself holding a fish. And it was this whole thing where effectively in this kind of business formal setting of LinkedIn, she was letting people know that she liked to fish by saying, hey, I've answered a lot of, you know, boat related questions this week in the office, and now I just, you know, the girl wants to go fishing, and a picture of her. And we were talking about it later, and she had said on average her LinkedIn post, let's say it was 500 views. I remember it was a 300% increase. I can't remember the exact number. Maybe it was like 300 and it went to 1,200, 500, 1,500. But either way, she had 300% increase in views above and beyond that because she had used this biz per post tactic. So it's pretty cool. So here's the next question. The next question is, okay, let's make sure we understand this. I will tell you right now, when I teach these in workshops, what happens is everyone is way too businessy. You're way too business because you got your business hat on. And I have to say, you have to be the reverse of that. So you're going to lean into being way too whatever it is that your business is, way too insurancy or way too into real estate. You've got to recognize that this is established, that you have that relationship and that's your role. You're just reminding them on a light level. So let's say you have friends on Facebook that are, you know, maybe your kids play soccer and you're friends with some of the parents there, and they might know you're a realtor, but they don't really know you that well. So by you sharing a post about something that's happening with the soccer, they're going to relate to that, and you're just going to lightly address that, you know, coming back from the real estate office, or after this open home house I gave today, or, you know, let's say in the world of insurance, right? Just, you know, some crazy claims came on the desk today, or whatever these terms are that you want to talk about that are going to be appropriate to share, that give them the reference to what you do. That's fine, but you want to focus really on the social aspect of it. Okay, so here's some prompts to help you. So here's some prompts that you can think about when you're thinking, okay, I want to create a social post that's going to be engaging. It's not going to create any spam. It's going to be more social, but have a little bit of business. First off, what happened on the way to work, right? What'd you do on the way to work today? Anything happen? Of course, today, right, the trip was from your bedroom to your living room because we're all stuck in our houses. So maybe that one doesn't apply here, but actually it probably could, right? I was working, right, yesterday. I've been watching all the Jimmy Fallon bits. If you haven't seen Jimmy Fallon at home and his little girl's like climbing all over his head while he's trying to do the Tonight Show, that's my life, right? I got a 3-year-old and he's climbing all over my head and I'm trying to do this stuff. So I could talk about that. What happened at lunch? What happened on the way home from work? What are you most excited about? What really made you laugh? You know, I like to think that if there's a moment that you almost have to pull the car over and text your girlfriend or your best friend or your BFF or your significant other, like it's that emotion that should drive this kind of post. So what are the things that just hit you so hard, you're like, oh, I have to share this? Then what you do, and this is where we get a little sneaky and tactical, you share that post as a social post, not just to your BFF, but to your social page. And so it has that heart in it, has that feeling in it. But then that's when you know, it could have been like driving home from my real estate office and, you know, this happened or whatever those things are. Okay, so where can you use the biz per post? Here's our next question here. Zoom in here. You can use the biz per post really anywhere. Honestly, you can use it anywhere because it's not self-serving. It's focusing on something social that's interesting, that you care about, but it's not about me. It's about something you've witnessed or you've experienced. So you can use it on business profiles. You can use it on personal profiles. You can actually tag people so it shows up on the client or the referral partners page. You know, it could be one of those things like, hey, John, I was just thinking about you and this thing happened on my way home from the office, you know, whatever those things are. You can use it all over. In fact, I have here on the bottom, right, you can use it as a comment. Often, and here's a cool little tactic. So what it says right here is, should I create a new post or join an existing conversation? The truth is, a lot of times there are already parties that are going on. When you think about social media as online conversations where people are coming together, there are probably other places where there's already something going on. There's movement. You know, like for me, I thought, well, let me just finish this thought. So let's say something happens and you wanted to share it. And you wanted to share it with a certain niche of people, right? So maybe let's say you insure restaurants and you have like 50 restaurant owners who you write insurance for, and something came up that you thought, oh, this would be, you know, of interest to them, whether it's insightful or funny or just heartwarming, whatever those things are. And you think, okay, you know, I want to share this on my LinkedIn page so all of my restaurant owners that see this, you know, they'll have a chuckle, and everyone else that might find it interesting will find it chuckle too. Or what you can do is you can go to places on the web where all the restaurant owners are talking. So in LinkedIn, there are groups. There are restaurant owner groups. On Facebook, there are restaurant owner groups, right? There are groups on Facebook or even just pages that bring a certain kind of people together. So your tactic here is, if I want to get in front of a certain group of people, maybe beyond my restaurant owners, then where are my restaurant owners hanging out? And so what you want to do is you want to use Facebook and LinkedIn to find out where the pages are and the groups are where they're already hanging out. And then you use this tactic, this BizPer tactic, where it's really social and you lightly, and of course in this situation, a lot of these people aren't going to know who you are. And so when you share your thing, you can give that little bit of reference, like, you know, as a realtor, or, you know, as a, you know, having insured many restaurant, you know, being an insurance professional who insures restaurants, this, you know, made me laugh. And then, or, you know, I thought this was really cool. Whatever those things are. And then you get to whatever that really heartwarming thing is. This is where I hate doing these live like this, because I can't see your face. I don't know what you're thinking right now. I don't know if you're playing like Candy Crush and thinking, why am I even watching this? Or if this is engaging. So here's what I want to do, okay? I want to challenge you guys. And so we're gonna do something I haven't done before in the lives, and that is I'm gonna give you a little bit of homework to do right at this second. So here's what we wanna do. I want to see if you, right now on the spot, could come up with your own Barely Business or a BizPer post. So I want you to think about what we've talked about. I'm going to go back to the instruction page here, but I want you to think, okay, can I do this? Can I write something down? And then for double dog points, right? I would say, if you're not someone who I've already promised this to, if you guys are maybe a new watcher today, I don't know what we're doing here on views, then go ahead and share it in the post. And if I really like it, then I'll give you free access to the training when it comes out too. And that includes the replay. So if you're watching this on a replay and you want to do that, that's fine. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to come up with your own BizPer post. So again, what's happening? Something that you find interesting, that you want to share, and then just wrap in it a little bit something about your business. And then we'll go. We'll see if you guys share anything. And then we're going to give that a second, let you write something. I'm going to see if there's any comments here, if you guys have already done it. Oh, Cordell has already done it. Cordell, stars. Stars for you, Cordell. Okay, Cordell has one. He actually showed the link to it. So it's in there. You can click it, you can watch it for an example. I'm gonna look at that. I don't know if the universe will explode if I look at our group at the same time we're on here. So let's see. Oh, and there is another one. So you guys are so cool. Let me refresh this page. Okay, you're seeing them, right? Because you're watching this on the live. There's probably a better way for me to do this, but let's just see what you guys have. So here we go. I'm just going to jump over to the web and see if we can find these. This will be fun. All right, so how do I do that? Let's go to the web. Oh, actually, I think I have a link for it. Let's see, groups. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and read Cordell's. As we are currently accepting new practical nursing applications. So what you should know here is that Cordell is the marketing, I don't know if you're director or VP or just big kahuna, but he's the guy doing a lot of marketing for a university, Southwest Technical College in Cedar City, Utah. So as we are currently accepting new practical nursing applications, it reminds us of how grateful we are for all the wonderful men and women working in the healthcare industry right now. We support you and love you. We are inspired by your dedication to serving and healing our family, friends, and community. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. And I want to see the picture on that one. So here, let's go down here. So here's the link. Oh, and you got all these just wonderful students. See how cool that is? I love it. That's a great example. I don't know if I could find this really quick. I will tell you, here's an example of someone, and I know that you're on the call, Crystal, so we got to see if you're going to be brave and do this. And you might think, Brett, I don't know how to do this. So if you have questions on this, there are two realtors in Tacoma. So I'm just going to see if I can find this. YouTube.com. I shouldn't do this live. We'll see what happens here. Realtor, Tacoma. There are just these two women that are making these videos, and they're fantastic. These two right here, okay? Margaret and Ann talk Tacoma real estate. If you guys are in real estate or even in insurance or education, I would say these guys are not just doing biz per post, they're doing biz per videos. Basically, I have probably watched almost 4 hours, maybe even 8 hours of their videos, because they're just really well done. Like here's a spotlight on Gig Harbor, here's a spotlight on this time, or today we decided to get coffee at this place. And they never like, we're realtors, do you want to buy real estate from us? They are just, if I were to buy a home in Tacoma or Gig Harbor, these two are who I would talk to, because they have already got my heart. Like, I just am so impressed. They're competent, they're insightful, they're funny, and they just have these videos where they sit around and talk. Here, I'll make this bigger. They talk, and then this one they're mostly talking, but usually like they're going around and doing things. So you're into older homes. Let's see, here's another one. And I guess this one they're talking. Okay, here's one. What is the South Tacoma neighborhood like? And so in this, they're just talking about it. But some of the ones that I've liked the best are ones like, we decided to get fish in Gig Harbor. And it's just this whole day of the stuff they're doing. So great examples out there on the web. And these two people, Margaret Martin, you guys check them out as far as examples go. Okay, so I think we wrapped that one up. How are we doing on time? How is it that no matter what I do, it's always going to take 30 minutes? I thought that would take like 10 minutes. Okay, so what I want to share with you guys is one more tactic, and this one also has homework, but it's easy. It's easy to do, even though it does take a little time. So let me just go ahead and share this one. Okay, so the second tactic. So here's the second tactic. We've wrapped up the biz per post. Hopefully that gave you some cool ideas and some things you can do to connect with people emotionally and not just throw your business at them. The second one is how you can create an FAQ list. So you want to know what people want. You want to share stuff that's of interest to your people, right? That's why I said at the beginning. Well, what we do is we can create an FAQ list. And then we create posts, whether they're articles or social posts, based from the FAQ list. So here's how you're going to do it. Let me zoom in. First, I just want you to create a list. You can do it in Excel or on a piece of paper, anywhere you want, Word, what doesn't matter. A little app on your phone. And create a list of every question that you answer. So every time you answer a business-related question, write down what the question is. And then second, every time you answer that question again, put a hashtag or, a check mark or a hash by it, right? Just so it's like, oh, I've answered this question 10 times this week, so I got 10 little checks next to it. And then I would say do this consistently every day. And if you're in insurance and you have a CSR, or you're in real estate and you can get the rest of the office to do it, like it just doesn't really matter. But you want to take as many business related questions that are coming into your world and track them. And then I would say after 3 months, tally them up. And in 3 months, see which of these topics have the most check marks. And you now have a really nice list of what your frequently asked questions are. So now what you can do is from that list, people often will ask me, they'll say, Brett, what should I write? Should I post every week? Should I post every month? And I say, let's not even worry about the frequency. Let's think about the content. You create this FAQ list, and whether you can, look at the top 10 posts or the top 5 posts and say, okay, these are the top 5 questions. Create an article for each one of these. I think that's the next question here, or the next item. Number 4, create a blog post or a LinkedIn article. Remember yesterday we talked about creating LinkedIn articles, answering the FAQ. I don't know if that was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. My brain is starting to get... it's hard to remember what day it is with this whole COVID thing going on. But you create a post to answer that. And then number 5, you create a social post that drives people to that. So you might write the article on LinkedIn for your personal profile, answering whatever that question is. And it's an independent website page that can get indexed. And then you share social posts to Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram or whatever you use, Twitter, that drive back to it. This is cool. And what's powerful about it is number 6. In the future, whenever that question comes up, right, it might be we're hanging out the kids are having a birthday party, right? I'm at your house, kids are having a birthday party, you're in insurance or real estate or whatever it might be, and I have a question like, hey, you know what? My buddy said I should get an umbrella policy. I don't really know what that is. And then the insurance person, right, your friend is like excited, like, oh yeah, I'll tell you about that. And then right as he's about to tell you, what happens? What happens is, your spouses are like, hey, idiots, quit talking shop in there, come in here and, give Junior some attention. And you don't get the chance. You don't get the chance to finish that conversation. Well, if you've already answered that question, whether it's a text answer or you shoot a little video and it's posted out there, you can be like, you know what, that's a great question. I actually created a video on that, or I wrote a little article about that a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, whatever it might be. If you'll just give me your email, I'll send you a link to that. And now in real life, you've been able to take this parts of your brain that you have dedicated to space on the web, right? You got a little article, a little video, whatever those things are, and you can use them. You can say, you know what, Brett, that's a great question. What's an umbrella policy? I actually wrote an article about that, or I shot a little video about that. Looks like we can't talk about that now, but give me your email and I'll send you a link to it, and then maybe we can talk tomorrow. Or just, call me after you watch it. And now what you've done is they're going to get that information, and they're going to get it in your best performance, right? Because you took time to write that article, you took time to shoot that video, and it's like your best version of it. And so now they get that information. And what's really cool is now I'm like, oh, this is cool. Well, later that night, I can show it to my wife. I can say, you know what? Remember we were talking about umbrella policy? That birthday party we were just at, he's an insurance agent, and I watched this video he made. Check this out. And you see how you can transfer in its potency, its awesomeness, the message that you have. That's powerful. So really what I wanted to do here was just to give you this idea of saying, you don't have to be feeling aimless when it comes to figuring out what it is that people want to hear from. You just track the questions they have, and then in the future, whether it's a short social post, maybe it's your maybe you don't have time to write an article and you're just going to do what we talked about the other day, which was find 3 or 4 articles already out there that talk about that. And then you create the LinkedIn article that says, what's an umbrella policy? And then you give like a sentence or two, right? A little paragraph. And then you say, here's some articles I found that you might find helpful. And then you've got all 3 or 4 of those articles there. When you do that, now you've got your own article, and then you can share that on social media. And isn't that cool? You're driving people to your space, even if you're using other people's stuff. So FAQs are really cool because those are the questions that people have. And if we start listening for what they are, then we get the opportunity to answer those questions either in our own voice or share them, be a broker of information, aggregator, and bring that to them. And what you do, you don't worry about, do I post every week? You just say, whenever I have free time, I'm going to work on my list of my top 10 questions. And once you get done with those questions, you start working on the next top 10 questions. And if you can answer them in 3 months or 3 years, like either way, it's that movie, What About Bob? You're just taking these little baby steps forward. It's okay. We're all at different places, and we have different paces. So that's the 2 things I really wanted to share with you guys today. The biz per post and the and the starting your FAQ list. Here's my last thing for you is do this today. In fact, you can jumpstart on this list and just think in your brain, like just get a piece of paper and write down what are the last couple of questions that I've answered. So even come up with 5 or 10 questions just as a starting point. And then the key is to remember, right? You got to start that, what we call a reticular activator, which is when something happens, you're now aware of this. And so when you maybe post this list on your fridge or post it on your desk or something, so that way it'll pop up. Because what happens, I've seen this over and over again, is you answer a lot of questions and they're like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. But if you have that thing there, like mark down, write down your questions, even a little note to yourself, then during the day when you're in the office or in the car or whatever, you can write those questions down. And then you got this awesome prioritized list of what your audience wants. So that's it. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're done. Wish you guys a wonderful day. I'm going to look at the comments to see if you guys have anything that you want to say to me. And then we will meet back again tomorrow. This is what I'm thinking about doing tomorrow. Why hashtags matter. How to use hashtags effectively. How to use hashtags to figure out what's going on in a certain location. All about hashtags. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I might change mine. I'm not 100% sure. I will cover this one for sure in the 21 days. But that's one I have on my list for tomorrow. Okay. So let me look at these comments, see what you guys are up to. If you're just watching this on the replay and you want to be the kindest person ever, leave a comment. Give me some feedback so I know that you watched it. I mean, I know there's a thing you can go see how many people viewed it, but what was helpful? What'd you like? What kind of questions you have? Are there any specific questions that you have that you're like, I wonder if this Brett guy could answer that question for me? Send those to me in a direct message or in a comment on one of these videos. I am stuck at home like you guys are, and so I have more time to do this than I normally do. So we're just going to keep on doing that. So this ends week 1, right? This is day 7. So I've been doing this for 7 days. We're going to do it for 14 more days, and we'll see if I have enough things to talk about for 2 more weeks. I think I do. All right. Let me look at the comments, and then we will see where we're at. Okay. You're trying to be funny, but you can't get into the flow yet. Okay, so here's my, and I see that Cordell says, yep, you're gonna start your list. Okay, do it. Crystal, I'm just gonna make a moment comment to you, and then we'll cut it off. It's okay, you can't force this stuff. So what you wanna do though, is start paying attention to when that moment comes organically that you want to share, right? And you share it with a good friend, or you want to share with your significant other, or you want to share on social media, maybe on a more personal level. And then the idea is share that on your business profile, and then just wrap in lightly something about it that's going to be business related, And I would say in the future, when you think you got one, feel free to just DM me, direct message me, send it to me, or post it in here. Whatever, text me, right? You can just send it to me in a text. And I'd love to give you some feedback. So start looking for these, you'll see them. Okay, guys, I need to come up with a more succinct way to end these. You guys are awesome. Be the boss, right? The whole thing of Boss Social is you got to be the boss of your social. This whole initiative, don't become a social media expert. It's be the boss of your social. Make sure it's good employees that are working for you. So here's some ways today, hopefully, that helps your social media work a little better for you. And I will see you guys again soon. All right.